Hey guys, and welcome back to This Homemade Life. My name is Courtney, and today we are in my kitchen. As you can see, I thought I would bring you along and show you how I like to make a couple of really awesome, tasty sides that are going to be perfect for your next Taco Tuesday. Alright, so I've got all the stuff I'm going to need to make some Pico de Gallo handy and ready to go. Let me just tell you, this is one of my favorite things to have on hand for like a million different things. I like it just with chips by itself. We put it on tacos, we put it in burritos, we put it on eggs. Oh, it's phenomenal with eggs. But once we make this, we're gonna actually use this to kind of mix in with our guacamole to bring an extra layer of flavor to it. So it kind of will do a double duty for us today, which is the way I like to cook. If things can work more ways than one, that's even better. So for this, I've got 2 hatch chilies. If you're using jalapenos, 1 or 2, same thing, it's fine. I have quite a few Roma tomatoes. I'm gonna start off by chopping up 4 of them. If I feel like I need some more, I will go ahead and chop up a couple more. I have a small onion, probably only gonna use half of this right now. As small as he is, I still think half is more than enough. Onion really is just so powerful. Got some lime, because we need lime juice. Got us a little salt and pepper. And then I have got some cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, I know some people just really can't stand the stuff, and that's fine. Go ahead and skip that, leave it out. It's not a big deal. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and put on one of these gloves. I do wear contacts, and I don't want to burn my eyes trying to take out my contacts later because I have pepper on them. So I'm gonna wear a glove on the hand I'm gonna be holding onto it with, and I'm gonna get started chopping up my veg. One tip, if you guys are interested, I do like to keep like a garbage bowl around, nothing fancy. It's just some plastic Tupperware kind of stuff, but that way I don't have to make trips back and forth to the trash can. I'm here, I'm cooking, I'm chopping. I'll just put everything in here for now, and I'll dump it later. So I've gone ahead and chopped up all of those hatch chilies. They're in my bowl. As you can see, there's a little up close shot so you can kind of see the size of the pieces. Like I said, I'm not going to all the trouble for a fine mince on them. I don't think you need to. Just dice them up nicely so that you can get a bite that has pepper, tomato, and onion in it all at once, and you're good to go. All right, let's go ahead and deal with this onion. Like I said, I'm only gonna do half of it because onion is kind of strong and overpowering. I want to taste the peppers and the cilantro and the tomatoes. I don't just want a bite of nothing but onion. So first I'm going to cut this guy in half, and I'm going to save the other half because we're going to use it later with the stuff we're cooking. All right, now for the tomatoes. Now I will show you something I do here. I don't want a whole bunch of the tomato juice to be in this dip. The only juice I want in there really is going to be like the lime juice for the most part. The salt will bring out a few juices from the peppers and the onions and the tomatoes, but we don't want the tomatoes to just water it down. So what I do is I core my tomatoes. To do that, see there, I sliced off the edge of it, and I can dump the seeds out like that. And this part right here where all the seeds are, that's the core of the tomato. All the juice really is in there. So you can see now you have an outline. If I slice right here, I'm cutting around the core. So let's do that. And you can see right there, there's a little bit of seed and juice left. I'm just gonna kind of run my finger in there and dump it out in my garbage bowl. See, there's my core. It's starting to take shape. You can see it's a square or a rectangle in the middle of the tomato. We want to leave that alone. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this side around it, and then I'm going to cut this end, and there's the core. It's really juicy and all that kind of stuff. We don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and the few seeds and juice that came with these end pieces, I'll go ahead and dump off in my garbage bowl. I've also seen people cut tomatoes in half and just kind of poke holes in them and squeeze like a lemon. It gets the juice out and the seeds out, but I did find that when it came to dicing your tomato after that, it was a lot harder to chop it up because it was so beaten up and wrinkled and everything. So I just like to do it like this. This works fine. Okay, so now I've diced up all my tomatoes. I've added them to my pico de gallo. Let's get a spoon, stir it up, see how it looks, and see if I think I need any more. Okay, I'm bringing out the good cookware for y'all tonight. Here we go. You know, I'm really liking the way that this is looking right now. I think that this is exactly what I want. This is the way I like it. It's pretty even keel with the tomatoes and everything else. That's the way I prefer it. So I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna set it to the side, and now let's talk about the cilantro. I know, guys, I know a lot of people don't like it. If you're one of those people, skip this step, leave it out. It's fine. You're not hurting my feelings. It is great. Got these guys for free from Amazon with something else I ordered, and I thought, perfect time to try them out. Let's see if they work. So we don't need a ton of cilantro for this. After all, I don't have a giant bowl of pico here. I mean, I've got enough for my family to eat for 2 nights maybe. So I'm gonna do, at the end of the day, probably about a tablespoon or so of cilantro. I include the stems with mine because I don't want to waste. I don't see the point in wasting. So I'm going to go ahead and just put those in here as well. Oh yeah, this is handy. This is way better than chopping on a cutting board. I mean, I probably wouldn't have bought them if I had to pay for them, but they were free, and that makes them even better. All right, so now we're just gonna mix this up, get the cilantro evenly incorporated throughout our pico de gallo. All right, everything's looking really good, and the smell. Oh, I love the smell of these fresh vegetables together, and that's really what does it for me. Such a fresh flavor. You know, it reminds me so much of summer. It's really bright, it's really vibrant. I know we're getting to the end of summer, but this taste right here really for me is just perfect. So let's go ahead and get our lime ready. I do like to roll mine on the counter, get the juices flowing on the inside. There we go, he feels nice and soft now. So, limes are not supposed to have seeds. That's the rumor I hear anyway. So we're just going to juice this guy, like so. And I'm only gonna use half because I feel like this had a lot of juice in it. The limes I've been getting lately have just been kind of on the dry side. But this one, oh man, I'm gonna say well over a tablespoon of juice just in half this lime. Nice. All right, I'll save that because don't worry, we're gonna use it. And the last couple of ingredients, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of salt. The salt's really gonna kind of help pull some of the onion juice out, the pepper juice out, help the flavors meld together. You really need this. You don't have to go heavy with it, but you definitely need to include some salt. And finally, I like some fresh cracked black pepper. It's a different flavor element than the hatch chilies that are in there. It brings something nice to the table, so I like to put this in. If you're worried about the heat level or anything like that, you don't have to do it, but I really like it. All right, there we go. We're just gonna mix this up. There we go. Oh, it looks so good. It smells fantastic. I wish you guys could smell this. Really, it smells so good. So let me show you what we have. There we go. Pico de Gallo, homemade from scratch. So normally I would tell you chill this in your fridge. The colder it is, the better I think it is. For me, I'm gonna leave it on the countertop because here in just a little bit, we're gonna add just a little bit of this to our guacamole. All right, so let me get this stuff kind of cleared out of the way and we'll move on to our next dish. All right, guys, as you can see, I am ready to move on to our next dish, and that is going to be restaurant-style salsa. There are a million ways to make salsa. I have made salsa a million ways, and I still continue to make it a number of different ways. But this method is the easiest, it's the quickest, it's the most even results you're gonna get, and it tastes fantastic. It really does taste like a lot of restaurants that you go to, or at least that I go to down here in Texas. And again, it's easy. So let me tell you what we're gonna need for this. Got a can of diced fire roasted tomatoes. You don't have to have fire roasted, but I really do recommend it. There is a flavor difference. It adds something, you know, brings something to the table. So if you can get it, get it. If not, that's okay. Just go with any kind of diced tomatoes, or Even any kind of whole tomatoes really will work because we're going to put them in the food processor, but canned tomatoes. So I've got fire roasted because I think they taste the best. Got myself some garlic. I have our half an onion that we have left over from our pico. I've got that half a lime that we have left over. I have got 1 hatch chili pepper. If you're using jalapenos, you're probably gonna wanna do 2. Again, you don't have to take out the membranes and stuff, the veins on the inside. Do take out the seeds if you can, a couple are fine, but get the big bulk ones out just because it's just a texture thing. It doesn't taste all that great in here, biting on them, you know, they don't soften up. Got our cilantro again. Again, if you don't like it, leave it out. You're not hurting my feelings, it's fine with me. And lastly, got a little pepper, and I've got a little salt. This could not be easier. All these ingredients together inside your food processor, just kind of buzz it around until everything's broken down and nice, and you have got some restaurant style salsa. That said, let's go ahead and get everything in here and I'll show you how quickly it comes together. All right, so first off, I'm gonna go ahead and just dump these tomatoes in. I think it's best if they're at the bottom. I just feel like it helps mix it up a little bit better. So we'll dump these guys in. All right, now I'm going to pull out my fancy cutware over here. I'm gonna take the skin and stuff off of this onion, and then I'm just gonna cut him into like 3 pieces probably so that he blends a little bit better. I mean, it's a food processor. I don't have to do a lot of work here, but I do want it to blend easily enough. So I'll do what I can to make sure that happens. All right, so again, I'm just gonna cut this into like, I think I might do 6 pieces. There we go. Nothing spectacular. I just rough chop on it like that. Now I'm gonna dump it in and let the food processor do the rest of the work for me. And as I mentioned earlier with this guy, I am gonna cut him in half. I'm gonna take out the membranes. I'm gonna get the seeds out just because I don't like them. It's a texture thing, but this is quick and easy to do. As you can see, they're large chunks. They're not even, they're not perfect. That's what a food processor's for. I'm gonna go ahead and my half a lime, juice that guy in here. I feel like that's good. Oh, need some more fancy cookware. Got that. We're gonna add, I'm gonna call it a heaping tablespoon of minced garlic in. If you're doing this at home, 1 to 2 cloves. If you like garlic more, go for it. If you don't have to put that much in. You can even leave it out, it's up to you. All right. We're gonna do some salt. And we're gonna do some fresh ground black pepper. All right. And now I'm gonna go get my food processor base so that this actually will work for me. Oh, no. I forgot something, guys. A little bit of the cilantro. Just gonna, stems and all, put it in. It's all flavor. Won't hurt you, it's good for you. All right, so I've got this attached. My lid is on. All I'm gonna do is just puree it until it's smooth. I do recommend pulsing a little bit because that way the large chunks will kind of settle back down. Even though I have this multi-blade system in here, I still need to do that. But you want like the large chunks of pepper and onions and whatnot to come back down where the blade is so they get broken down as well. So you'll see me do a regular just bzzz, and then you'll see me do some pulses to get it all blended. All right, cover your ears, this thing's loud. Here we go. Now, if you like really chunky salsa, go ahead and stop a little bit early. I like mine to be just a little bit more broken down than this because of the things I use it for. So we'll put it on tacos, but we'll also put it on eggs. We'll dip it with chips. We'll do all kinds of things with it. I usually keep some salsa in my fridge, make it on the weekend and it lasts all week. So I like mine just a little bit more broken down than this. But if you want it chunky, stop when you're ready. All right, that looks really good to me. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You guys see that? I know it's really hard to see at this angle. Let me get this in a bowl and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. It looks good, it smells good. It's so fresh and vibrant and full of flavor. You can smell all the flavor. Look at that. We've got a few chunks in there, but nothing out of control, just the way I like it. And you can see all the veggies in there, right? You can see the garlic, the tomatoes, the onion, all of it. Oh, it smells so good. This looks like restaurant style salsa. It tastes a lot like restaurant style salsa, but you make it in your home. You don't have to pay for a whole meal out to eat. You know what's in it. You can adjust it to your taste, and it's fast. Guys, I made this in, I think, about 5 minutes. So I hope you give this one a shot. You're gonna love it. All right, guys, welcome to my stovetop. We're gonna move on to our next dish, which is these Shishito peppers. I'm gonna show you how I roast these. A lot of times I actually prefer this in my air fryer. They get a little bit crispier, but I know not all of you guys have air fryers, and that's cool. I'm gonna show you the method I originally cooked these before I got my air fryer. So I can find these at my local grocery store. They're called Shishito peppers. They kind of look a little wrinkly. They're supposed to look like that. They're not too big. You know, every once in a while you get one that's a little larger, but most of them are on, like, you know, the smaller size. They're generally not hot. Every once in a while you get one with a bite, but typically they're not hot peppers. And even the ones that have a bite are not really hot. But these guys make such a lovely snack. So what I do is I like to take my Shishito peppers, I bring them home, I rinse them off, I dry them. You do want them to be as dry as you can get them. I have just the tiniest bit of moisture on them, but that's because they were in the fridge. So they're clean, they're ready to go. I'm gonna take some olive oil and coat them in olive oil. And I'm gonna put some salt, some pepper, and some garlic powder on them. And then we're gonna put them in the skillet, and we're going to kind of just cook them and saute them until they get a little bit brown, a little bit crispy, and a lot of flavor develops. All right, here we go. So to this one bag of Shishito peppers, which is in the ounces, it's not in the pounds. I don't know how many ounces, but I've never seen them packaged any other way than a bag of Shishito peppers. So I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then, oh, I need a spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and stir these guys around, try to get that olive oil on all of them. All right. Make sure my pan is preheated. You do want your pan to get nice and hot. Cast iron would be even better, probably. I don't feel like lugging mine out right now. This will be fine, it's easy to clean up. And again, season them the same if you're doing them in the air fryer. Cook them at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. And if they're not quite brown enough for you, if you want them a little crispier, go ahead and do them in 5-minute intervals from there until they get to what you think you want. All right, so I'm gonna toss in about a teaspoon of onion powder. You're gonna flavor these like you would flavor any kind of potato chip or something, really. So you could kind of add different things if you want. If you want maybe some chili powder, red pepper flakes, anything you feel like adding is fine. I kind of just go a traditional method of salt, pepper, garlic powder. I think the flavors are nice, they go well with the peppers, and it's pretty simple. So that's about a teaspoon of garlic that I put in there, and now I'm gonna add about that much salt. You add as much as you like. I do like mine just a little bit salty, but not too bad. And then pepper. You can leave this out if you're worried about the heat level, or add red pepper flakes instead if you like it nice and hot. That's up to you. All right, we're gonna stir these guys around, distribute all that seasoning. All right, they look good and they smell good. I really do like these as a snack. And they really are the perfect finger food. You know, make them for your next holiday get together. Make them for a football night. Make them for your next Taco Tuesday. Make them just to eat because you're hungry. It all works out great. They taste nice. So I'm gonna put them in the skillet. Now, this cooking process in the skillet does take a little while. I'm talking about probably 15 minutes to get them evenly cooked the way you want them. I doubt you want to stand here and watch me stir these and cook for 15 minutes, and I don't think I have enough interesting stories for that. So I'll probably do like a little speed montage and get you guys through the end, show you what they look like when they're all nice and yummy and delicious. finished roasting all the peppers. Let's give you a peek. Look at that. They've got some char. They're not burned, just a little char for extra flavor. They are soft. It's brought out their natural flavors, but we put some salt, some pepper, and some garlic powder on there. And these are so, so good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave them uncovered. This is really important. Uncovered until they cool. Then you cover them and you can put them in your fridge for storage. They'll stay good for about 5 days in your fridge. Mine never last that long. They're usually gone really fast. But again, perfect snack. Pick them up, eat them. Oh, so, so good. And it's gonna be the perfect pairing for your next Fiesta night or Taco Tuesday. All right, now I wanna talk about Queso Fundido. Have you ever heard of it? I know a lot of people haven't. I live down in Texas, so we have like a Mexican food restaurant on every corner here, and we have a lot of different like Mexican type dishes and stuff. While chips and queso are super popular here, there's a lot of places that serve a dish called Queso Fundido. So I thought I would share the recipe with you guys because it's really so simple, but it has a lot of flavor. Now, this is not like a creamy, saucy queso dip. This is like a stringy, cheesy, flavorful queso dip. It's a little bit different. But that's why I thought I'd, show you guys how to make it. It's easy and it's different. You don't see it every day, so maybe you'll want to serve it on your next Taco Tuesday. Maybe you want to serve it at your next get together. I don't know, it's up to you, but let me show you how it comes together because it's super simple. So for this, we're gonna need Munster cheese. I know it sounds weird, but trust me on this, it tastes great. We're gonna need about 4 ounces of chorizo. I get the pork chorizo just because that's what I always buy. I usually have some in my freezer so I can make like breakfast burritos and stuff. This is half of one of the tubes that they sell down here by Cacique, I think it is. So it's just like 4 ounces. Cut the tube in half. The other half I'll use for something else later, but we need that. Then we need 1 jalapeno, hatch chili, whatever you have. I have hatch chili. And we need some onion. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice and dice these veggies up first because we do have to cook them with the chorizo before we put everything together in our casserole dish and bake it in the oven. All right, so first I'm gonna need half an onion. All right, as you can see, we have our onion and we have our pepper all nicely diced up and ready to go. We're gonna head over to my stovetop. I'm gonna get a skillet out and we're gonna saute this with our 4 ounces of chorizo. Now keep in mind, I am making a small batch, this big. This is like, maybe 6 inches on a good day. It's not large at all. It's just for me and my family. My oldest doesn't care for cheese too much, so he'll only eat just a tiny bit. If any, he loves chorizo, so it kind of tempts him in. But it's really just mostly something my husband and I will probably eat for the next couple of days, but I don't want a whole lot of it. So just making a small batch. If you were gonna make this for a big crowd, go ahead and double up the recipe. I will tell you, it reheats well, it saves well in the fridge, that kind of thing. But it, like a lot of things, is best when you first bring it out of the oven. Speaking of which, I do have my oven preheating to 350 degrees because that is where this is heading as soon as we get it all put together. But for now, let's head to the stovetop and let's get the chorizo and the veggies sauteing. All right, so I've got this pan all nice and hot, and I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit of oil to it, just because the chorizo kind of sticks just a little bit in the beginning. It is like greasy when it's done, but it sticks in the beginning and I don't like that. So, all right, in she goes. Now chorizo cooks pretty quickly, so you're gonna wanna stay on top of this, get it broken down pretty quickly. Once I've gotten it kind of to a crumbled stage, I will add my vegetables and they will kind of just saute in the chorizo-y goodness, as I like to call it. As you see, my pan is already starting to turn a nice shade of orange, and that is from the chorizo. So that's broken down enough. We're gonna go ahead and add in our veggies. Welcome back to this side of the kitchen. So what I've got right now is a casserole dish that I showed you earlier, about 6 inches across for a small batch. And I put a little bit of nonstick cooking spray in here. You can put oil, you could grease it with butter, whatever you have is fine. Baking grease would probably be really good too. But for me, I just used a little bit of nonstick spray So now we're gonna go get the vegetables that we softened in the pan with the chorizo, and we're gonna pour them in here. There's our vegetable mix with the chorizo. We're just putting it in our casserole dish, and we wanna just make sure it's spread evenly across the bottom. There we go. All right, so that's what it looks like. It's evenly spread out across the bottom. So this is so simple, y'all. Munster cheese. I bought the slices, that's what my store had. If your store has like a block and you can shred, that's just fine. Probably a little bit better too. But this is what my store had. This is what I'm using. I'm just gonna open it and I'm going to put a layer of cheese on top of this chorizo. All right, so I just layered sliced cheese on top. You can layer shredded cheese. You can do it however you have it, that's fine. Munster cheese is Munster cheese. So we're just gonna take this and we're gonna pop it in the oven, 350 degrees, for about 20 minutes. It may take just a little bit longer, but what you're looking for is the cheese to be nice and melted and bubbly, but you don't wanna burn it, right? We're not looking for all the browning on top, just a little bit. Here we go. All right, so that is in the oven and it's baking. While we're waiting for that to get all nice and bubbly and delicious, let's go ahead and move on to the last thing I have for you today, which is my guacamole dip. All right, let's talk about this guacamole dip that I make. I don't even remember where I got this recipe. I think it was somebody that I knew back in the day. I can't even remember, but I like it so much, I've been making it for quite some time now. So what you're gonna need is avocados, however many you want. It's up to you. For me, I am using 3 avocados. That'll make enough guacamole for like 2 nights at my household. Chips and dip, tacos, that kind of thing. You're gonna need juice of at least half a lime. If it's not too juicy, you'll need the whole lime. You're gonna need some salt. You're gonna need a little bit of garlic powder. You're going to need some of this Pico de Gallo that we made earlier. Remember, there it is, yeah. And the last ingredient is cream cheese. My personal recommendation is to go ahead and get fat-free cream cheese. It really just kind of mixes in better, right? It's a different texture than regular cream cheese. So that's what I say, but if you just have regular, that's fine. Really, if you have whipped, that's even better. This is in my fridge because it got substituted from the store for something else. So I'm gonna use half of it today to make this guacamole dip. That way we are getting it used up, it's not going to waste, that kind of thing. All right, so here's another nifty tool I got for free when I ordered my, I think it was a vegetable peeler. Anyway, this is one of those avocado tools. So you cut it open with this little plastic blade. It's not sharp, but it cuts the skin of the avocado with no problem. You can use this to slice it and pull it out. Then it's got the little thing to pull the pit out back here. It's actually pretty cool. Again, I wouldn't have like paid money for it, but it came for free, so I'm gonna tell you, this is awesome. So let's start by going ahead, slicing our avocados open, getting the pits out, and putting them in the bowl, and then we'll mix in the rest of our stuff. All right, y'all, don't worry, I do have real utensils in my house, but I still have my fancy cookware that I love so much. All right, now we want to add in our cream cheese. We've got to mash up the avocados. Let's go ahead and get this in there. We can mash it all up together. All right, so now we mash, and we mash, and we mash. I'm betting this is super juicy, so we'll probably only need half. That's perfect. I think this is probably about 1.5 tablespoons, maybe even 2 tablespoons of lime juice. All right, so we're good there. Want to go ahead and mix that in. All right, so that's all incorporated in there. We're gonna come in with a little bit of salt. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder. All right. Now, you could stop here if you really wanted to, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have served this particular guacamole a million times in my house because I didn't want to have to chop up veggies, I didn't have anything handy, whatever the case was. But today, I have stuff handy, and today I want to be a little extra. I want to make it super good. This is our favorite way to eat it. So we're going to add in some of this Pico de Gallo that I made. Get your fanciest spoon, and you're just going to put it into your taste. For me, I like a lot of Pico de Gallo chunks in there. I mean, I want to taste the guacamole, of course, but I do like a decent amount of chunks. So I'd say I'm going to add probably about half a cup in there. Mix. And that looks perfect. There is so much flavor packed in here now. We've got avocados. We have got cream cheese to make it extra creamy and rich. We have got tomatoes, hatch chilies, onions, cilantro, lime juice, salt, and garlic powder. Guys, this really packs a lot of flavor, a lot of punch. So good, so fresh, and it's really pretty healthy. The worst ingredient we used was cream cheese, but remember, we used fat-free cream cheese, so that's not too bad. All right, so if you're wondering how to store your guacamole so it stays fresh for a little while, this won't work for more than about 24 hours, but works decently for about that long. Let me show you my trick. All right, so my trick for keeping guacamole fresher longer. It is really hard to do. I mean, avocados oxidize and turn brown at the drop of a hat. The cream cheese helps, the lime juice helps, but it won't work for long. So if you want to keep it good for about 24 hours in your fridge, cling wrap, press and seal, whatever you have. I don't like cling wrap, I do buy press and seal. But they both work the same. What you want to do is get yourself a piece about the size of your bowl. Okay? And then you want to push it down, and it's really important that this touches the top of the guacamole all around. You want to make sure it makes a complete seal with the guacamole, like so. See, I've got it pressed right there on top, it's touching it. All right, so what this does is it prevents the oxygen from getting in there and causing the oxidation process that turns the guacamole brown. I'm sorry, it's a temporary fix, so it works for about 24 hours. But really, who has guacamole that lasts that long? You guys, we're gonna eat all of this probably tonight. So, guacamole is done. Keep this in your fridge unless you're actively eating it. That will help keep it fresher longer. All right, guys, let's take a look at what everything looks like when we have it all spread out. Look at that fresh, hot, and bubbly queso fundido. All your chorizo and your vegetables underneath all that bubbly brown cheese. So delicious. Look here, we have our shishito peppers, nice and roasted. Oh, so tasty. Our restaurant style salsa, ready to be eaten, delectable. Our homemade pico de gallo, and our homemade guacamole. Look at that, guys. What a spread. It's ready for your next fiesta night, ready for football night, ready for Taco Tuesday night, ready for any time you have guests coming over or you just want to have a Mexican fiesta at home. All right, guys, that is it for today. I hope you'll try out these awesome recipes that I have shared with you. They are great for your next Taco Tuesday, fiesta night, Super Bowl, whenever you have people coming over and you want to feed a crowd or your family's looking for a fun food night. This is definitely the way to go. If you guys have tried these recipes or if you have something different you think I would like to try, please comment down below. Let me know about it and I will definitely look into it. Please like this video and also please subscribe to my channel because it does help me to build this community. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you all so much and I will see you soon.